Okay, here's the two wooden cases for the booklets. The nice blue one on the left is the one that I'm keeping the complete set in. Booklets on the left are the ones in my complete set. And I'll go through each one of them. Number one in the set is Teddy Roosevelt. And here's the two different color variations. Bright orange on the right looks pretty cool. Number two is Thomas Alva Edison. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Kind of like in this card world. If you just sit at home, cards don't come flying in your mailbox. You got to look at some of the auction places, eBay, or get out and beat the streets looking for inventory to add to your collections. General Pershing, Disciple of Discipline. Number 4, George Washington, First President. Number 5, Charles Lindbergh, flew across the Atlantic Ocean by himself in the spirit of St. Louis. And here we have another color variation on the Charles M. Schwab booklet. And the Benjamin Franklin variation, a little bit darker green. And the reason for the variations is some of these were made in 1928 and 29, and some were just made in 1928. So here's the Ben Franklin variations. Will Rogers, no variation here. Captain Robert Dollar. And here's the only one so far, number 10, that I found two different booklets. One has Walter Chrysler and one is Fireman. They're completely different. Independence Day. And the color variations of Commander Richard E. Byrd. And here's the Alvin C. York, World War I hero. The Abe Lincoln color variations. Here's number 15 and 16. Number 17 and 18, I've featured the Walter Camp before, father of modern football. John Wanamaker. I'm sure you've heard of the Wanamaker Mile before. Miles Standish and Walter S. Gifford. Here's the next couple with Admiral Dewey. Gustavus Swift and William Hoskins. The Giannini color variations. Of course, one is 1928 and one's 1929, so that's basically the only other difference besides the color. Owen Young and George Westinghouse. Orville Wright. Interesting, they put had an idea and carried it out. James Davis and Russell Conwell, famed for helping others. Number 31 and 32, Cyrus Curtis and actor Douglas Fairbanks. General Atterbury and Albert Gary. And my favorite one with Bobby Jones on the front. And here's Commander Donald McMillan and Frank W. Woolworth. I'm sure you've heard a lot of these last names. Here we have Albert Hubbard and E.M. Statler. Here's another color variation. Number 40, John H. Patterson. George Eastman and Haley Fisk. John McCutcheon and Dr. W.M. Burton, number 43 and 44. President Calvin Coolidge and Julius Rosenwald. Number 47 is another color variation, Harvey Firestone and Harvey Firestone. And here's Alfred Sloan. Here's another baseball guy, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis. Not one of my favorite commissioners, but it's part of history. Here we have Walter Head and famous movie director, producer Cecil B. DeMille. And he was the Hollywood giant at the time. Some great epic movies came from his studio. And finally, Henry Ford. Last name needs no explanation. There's a little Ford down there in the lower right.